Well, welcome back to another NCYM video cast. And we have a guest today, Andrew Cooper. He's at the King of Prussia Church up in near Philly, outside of Philly, Valley Forge, him and George Washington
Yeah.
there. And I was telling him about a minister that talked with me about 3 months ago and uh, basically said, I opted out of Social Security and I don't have any retirement and I'm
Mm.
55 or whatever. And what can I do? And I met Andrew a couple of weeks ago at Winterfest and we chatted briefly. I said, hey, you need to come on this and talk to our ministers about taking care of themselves financially. So, Andrew, welcome. Give us your best shot in 10 minutes here.
Yeah. Sounds good, Dudley. Slow me down. Ask me any questions whenever. And Dudley, for you personally, and for all the ministers, youth ministers out there, what you guys do is critical. My family, I personally have benefited from Winterfest. Obviously, the work that you guys do, guiding people's spiritual journeys is so important. Just a little bit about me. My dad was a minister for more than 40 years in South Jersey at two churches. Both my dad's dad and my mom's dad were both Church of Christ ministers in either Mississippi, Louisiana area, or all over the other several other states for my other granddad. And my father-in-law is a retired minister also in Bowling Green, Kentucky now. All that said, three of those four guys had almost zero savings for their retirement. And as I launched my firm a few years back, I said, man, this thing might not make any money for me or my firm in the short term, but there's this phenomenal product out there. I don't think any church any church knows of a 403b9 plan. So we created a 403b9 plan specifically for Church of Christ ministers and staff. So Dudley, I'm going to share my screen real quick if that's okay.
Yeah.
And the reason that we wanted to specifically share this, start this plan, is for a couple reasons. Um, um, the Proverbs say that, and I'll try to get my screen share thing out of the way, do not withhold good from those whom it is due when you have the power to do it. So for all of you senior ministers and or elders that might be listening, this 403b9 plan is an amazing and terrific benefit that's very low cost, that we'll show in a minute can provide significant financial benefits to you guys who are ministering, worried about their eternal salvation of your church family, and we need to help you guys worry about your earthly retirement. So Proverbs 21:20, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. It's so biblical to just hang on to some of what you have and save it for later. And then finally, from Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. So this plan is specifically for elders to make decisions on, and or finance teams, so that ministers and staff can benefit. And Dudley, you and I have talked a little bit. It seems, and I know from church growth studies that I've read that my dad has been a part of, the churches that seem to grow attract other Christians, and more importantly, attract people that haven't followed Jesus yet. They're more likely to be attracted to staff members that have been with churches for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and not a minister that just sweeps into town. So Dudley, does that kind of reconcile with what you've heard in the research that you've seen?
Yeah. In fact, we're doing research now with youth ministers that have stayed at a church 15 plus years. So there's some benefit from not church hopping.
Absolutely. Um, my caveat for this next slide, guys, is literally every number on this slide is incorrect, but the gist of it is accurate. If we take a minister or staff member with a $50,000 salary and they put 3% of their money away, what's 3%? $1,500 a year, and the church matches that dollar for dollar up to 3%. And let's just assume that there's a 7% annual rate of return. The hockey stick that I like to call it is this green line, and that measures the net worth over a period of years. So if a minister starts doing this at the young age of 25 years old, the church is only on the hook for about $1,500 of a benefit. every single year, and the minister is only on the hook for about $1,500 of a salary deferral. And you can see over a period of 30 years or so, 25 to 65, their net worth goes from basically zero for retirement savings all the way up to about $700,000. Again, every number is wrong. You're never going to get a 7% return over your, hopefully as ministers, your salary will increase and or you'll be able to defer more over time. But that's just a nice graphical representation of the biblical concept of sowing and reaping over a long period of time. Dudley, so far so good. Any questions?
Yeah, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. Okay, great. So this 403b9 plan, if you know anything about corporate America, it's very similar to a 401k plan, except 401ks are for companies, for-profit companies, and a 403b9 is for 501c3 churches and or nonprofits. And there are really three components to what you can do. You can invest your own money as a participant, and or the company, the church, excuse me, can match your money, and or the church can also just give you a contribution. So the plan is set up that there will be a 3% match and or a 1% contribution. And like any 401k retirement plan, this 403b, the participant, you get to choose exactly how much you're investing. You get to select the investments. You might want to have some higher risk. You might want to have some slower, steadier risk. But it's a very solid, low cost, diversified investment menu. And oh, by the way, if you want to get out of ministry at some point, which many ministers do make changes and their careers pivot, you can roll this over fully portable to another IRA. My caveat is for ministers and clergy, you probably want to keep your investments in a 403b9 because the best tax-free benefit you get if you retire as a minister and then you take money out of the 403b9 plan, which is what we do with retirement money. This you can take money out tax-free if you're putting that money towards a housing allowance. So this gets kind of wonky, and I don't want to get too detailed, but there are significant tax benefits for investing in a 403b9 if you're clergy specifically. Also, when you retire, you can have basically tax-free income from that retirement plan. Otherwise, if you don't take it out for housing purposes, you're going to get taxed at your ordinary income rate. Dudley, I'm going too fast, too slow, just about right?
Keep it going.
Okay, great. Why should you feel comfortable as a church leader or a participant putting your money in this plan? This is not about me and my firm as the investment advisor. This is about everything we're doing in this plan is for the good of the participant and or each individual minister who chooses to contribute or a staff member that chooses to contribute. So there are at least 4 parties that are watching over this plan. PennServe is an independent record keeper that knows how to operate and run 403b9 plans. They're can be fairly complex, so we're thrilled to partner with PennServe. Each church serves as a plan sponsor, and the plan is created. So now each church would just have to sign a document if they'd like to participate in the plan and pay $100 or $200 annual fee. There is a benefits committee made up right now of, I think, 3 men and 1 woman who are all leaders in their respective churches, deacons or elders or finance people that have 401k background in their day jobs. And there's an investment advisor. So the 4 groups work together to make sure that the plan continues to operate efficiently. So that's how I can feel good about offering this plan as the investment advisor and an advocate for preachers needing to save more money. What does this cost? Roughly $200 per church per year as far as an annual administrative fee. I can't tell you how cheap that is and how much a good deal that is for a partner like PennServe. And finally, just standard in the industry and actually inexpensive in the industry, there's an annual per participant fee. It's about $10 a quarter. It's swept from your account, so you don't have to pay anything. But again, just to make sure I'm being totally candid on all the fees, if you do make some transactional fees, they can charge you $25 or $50 for taking out money, but those fees are relatively minor. There is an investment advisor fee that it's swept from the account periodically, but that's the gist of the fees. So Dudley, what else do you have? What else should I cover?
So this is for youth ministers, children's ministers, staff,
Yep.
people at church. Uh, can it's not for like Joe Blow sitting in the pew, right?
Correct, correct. This plan, there are really three decisions each church will have to make. Does the church want to participate in this plan? Number one. If they don't want to, then that's it. No more decisions. If they want to, they have to figure out which participants will participate. The salaried staff members are easy. They should probably participate, and or part-time employees of the church can choose to participate if the churches want that. And to be sure, we allowed for some things like interns and or part-time people a few hours a week. The trustee said, let's make it greater than 15 hours a week. So anyone that's paid by the church greater than 15 hours a week, or any salaried employee can participate. Great
And
question.
the 3% match, can that be more?
The 3% match is generally, I guess it could be more. We're leaving it at a 3% match right now. But if the church wanted to do more, they could also add a non-elective contribution, means they could just give additional money to that preacher or staff member over and above the 3%.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And Dudley, we're having to be careful to not make the plan too difficult and too complex with potentially dozens or scores of churches participating. So we're saying a 3% match and or at least a 1% non-elective contribution per pay period. And then with the non-electives, churches can add more if they want to.
And so what would happen, say I'm working at church A, we
Yep.
start this plan, and 5, 6, 7 years into it, my home church back in Georgia calls me and says, we want you to come home. And I say, well, I'm in this program, and they can that roll over to the next church, and how does that work?
Very easy. Your balance would continue and would stay in the 403b9 plan. And then when you go down to the new church, if they don't have a retirement plan for you, we would get that church the paperwork and educate them on these choices. And you as a new pastor, staff member, preacher at that church can sign up for the same exact plan, and you'll see your old balance that you had before, and you'll be contributing to a new account because of the new church, I believe is how it would work. But yeah, you'd be contributing and you'd see it all under your name still.
Okay, great,
Yep.
great. So any other tips for guys thinking about that? I mean, a lot of churches don't have anything, and guys are staying at churches that have some benefits. Um, can I spam this out to some churches and say, hey, here's an easy way to get this on your docket?
Yeah, absolutely. My last sales pitch would be ministers again, probably do not opt out of Social Security because that's a nice thing to have. And you should be doing something. You could do a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA or just saving for aside. But I've got 20 years of experience working with Vanguard and retirement plans, and Dudley, participant behavior and people's behavior and church behavior is interesting. We're not likely to do something on our own because we're all so busy. So do something. And this 403b9 is a terrific option because inertia is so powerful. So please, for your sake, for your kids' sakes, do something. And I'm thrilled to offer a high quality, low cost plan that should be fairly administratively easy for everyone to manage.
So Andrew, can you put a slide up or something with your contact info? Surely you have something.
Um, yeah, here's me. Sorry, contact info. I will try to add it on the fly real quick. My personal cell that I don't give out to everybody, but I'm thrilled, Dudley, to give it out to this group. 610 291 5957 if you have any questions. And my email is andrew.cooper@coopereagle.com. So I'm going to jot these down real quick.
Well, thanks for doing that. And I just want to say I've talked to several ministers that opted out of Social Security, but they didn't have the wherewithal to save, and they're finding themselves getting down to the third part of life or whatever, and going, I'm not ever going to be able to retire. I'll be working at Walmart till I
Yeah.
die.
Yep.
And so I'd really love to see some people take advantage of this.
Same. And it's not too late. We all wish we did different things at 25 years old, but if you're 35 or 45 or 55, it's still not too late to get started.
Yeah, I was talking to Walter Serdacki at Lipscomb yesterday, and we were talking about the beauty of compound interest, and
Oh,
it's amazing, amazing.
yeah, that's this chart in a nutshell. Albert Einstein said it's the eighth wonder of the world, I think he called it. So just a powerful thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Andrew, thank you for your time. Is it snowing up in Philly or?
The snow is gone, 60 degrees, raining, overcast, but we're thankful that spring is allegedly early this year.
Yeah, thank that animal for not seeing his shadow or whatever happened.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah. All right. God bless you and thanks. And I'm going to get this out to all of our folks.
Terrific. Thanks, Dudley.
All right.
Great,
Have a
great
great day.
connecting again. You too.
Bye bye.